I filmed today's video about a month ago before I knew that yesterday I would be dropping an honesty bombshell in my video. And that is that I don't want to be doing the business that I have been doing and that I don't like it. So if you have ever felt that you ruined everything or made the wrong choices, or you just want to quit and run away, this is the video for you. And at the time, I was painting 14 paintings for a solo exhibition in a period of 3.5 weeks. So I was painting all the time. There were lots of good lessons coming through for me, and I was covered in oil paint. And so I filmed myself sharing about how every time I do a painting, I come to this point where I really just want to throw everything out. I hate it. I hate the painting. I think I've ruined it and I want to quit. And then in the video, I explain how I work through that when I'm doing a painting. But the lessons apparently are for myself 1 month later, and I hope they will be helpful for you. As I sit in the really uncomfortable place of having worked really hard as a YouTuber, making 100 videos this year, but not yet being monetized, working really hard on my business, but not having my path seem really clear where I have a regular way of making the business make money. Going back to this video was really timely for me. And yesterday was my confession, but this painting video is proof of me working through the ugly stage where I want to quit everything and then coming out of it and seeing the way forward. And so it's such a good representation of me trying to come back to myself. And honestly, right about that time when I was doing all of those paintings and feeling so myself was when I began to realize that what I was investing my time in my business, and the way that I had labeled myself and the niche that I was serving probably wasn't a fit. So, welcome to the jungle. I had to bring the jungle with me today. A series where I try to build the business that I actually want, and I bring you along for the ride. So I've been painting with oils for over 30 years now, and I thought it would be worth mentioning that I still come to a time in almost every painting where I hate it and I want to throw it away and I feel like I've ruined it. And I was just thinking today about how much that's like life. Florence and the Machine, it's always darkest before the dawn. Well, I don't need these on right now. That's nice because it's hot. Deep Thoughts by Florence and the Machine. It's happened in this painting. It happens in almost every painting. And I don't know if you have ever been in labor, but emotions when you paint sometimes become very, very intense, similar to life. I totally hate a color that's in there. I'm trying to blend out that color. When you have a baby, there's that super, super uncomfortable time when they're crowning and you just want to die and you just want to quit everything, but you can't. The midwife or the nurse is like, no, honey, you can't quit now. Yep, you're really you're in for it. You have to keep going. And gosh, so much of life is like that. And I just thought it would be interesting to share with you some of the feelings that painting brings out that just remind me of other parts of life. Usually, fingers crossed, I almost always get past this spot in every painting. Sometimes I walk away from it for a little while because I have been staring at it too long. Right now, I don't necessarily feel like I have the freedom to do that because I am doing this exhibition next week, a week from today. Sometimes in life, we just have to like take a break, walk away. That's what I just did for almost a month with my YouTube. I took a break and I walked away. And I think I was originally planning on taking a week off. And instead, I took about a month off with just one or two random episodes in there. And it's sort of what I needed to like life again and start to feel a little bit okay again, is just to completely unplug. The great thing about doing this exhibition is that I have so many paintings going. So if I'm really disliking one, I can go work on another one and then come back to it. I do find that sometimes when it's the worst with the painting, when I'm like the most frustrated, I'm not really that frustrated right now. With this one, I was angry a few minutes ago because I just felt like I'd ruined the whole thing. And I didn't really ruin the whole thing, but I am having to make some adjustments. That was terrible and I don't like it. Yeah, this right here is an analogy for life too. Sometimes you make a mistake and you just have to erase it and paint over it. That's one thing that I really like about oils is with oil paints, if you mess it up, you can paint over it. I like that if I make a mistake and I use a color that I really hate or whatever, I can just sort of like wipe it off and start again. But painting teaches me a lot about how I need to handle other parts of my life. So the thing it teaches me about other things is usually everything's not ruined. Maybe you need to take a break. Maybe you need to paint over one part. You know, maybe there's a mistake, but very rarely would you need to throw the baby out with the bathwater, as they say. And very rarely is like everything ruined. Hi, I'm videoing right now. Oh, thank you. I'll hold it in there. Yeah. So then my pretzel isn't painted. Thanks, babe. Andrew just came home from a trip. And so I told him like, hey, can you be in charge today so that I can paint like a crazy lady all day? And I have painted like a crazy lady all day. I think it's really important for every woman, basically every mother, to have something in her life that she does where it gets finished. Because one of the reasons I find painting really rewarding and therapeutic, I think, is because paintings can be finished. Motherhood is never finished. You go through different stages to varying degrees. And for me, because I have kids with developmental disabilities, like motherhood isn't going to be like a thing that finishes for me really ever. And it won't for my other kids either. I want to be supportive and loving to them and available to them in the ways that they need me as they grow and as they become adults. Like I still need my mom. I still need her, and I don't have her in the same way that I used to, and that's because of Alzheimer's. So anyway, motherhood really isn't finished ever. And paintings can get to a place of being complete. So I don't know what that might be for you. I don't know whether it might be quilting or some sort of other creative endeavor. Even for those of you out there who like baking or cooking, obviously, Painting is nice because the painting lasts and nobody eats it up. I think that that's one of the other things with motherhood and homemaking things that is really hard for me is like I work really hard to clean up the house or the kitchen, or I work really hard to make 7 people food and then it disappears and then you have to do it all over again. But I really recommend having something like that as a mother so that, I don't know, so that you're not just always looking at an unfinished job and feeling like you're never ever going to be done with it. Another thing that I was thinking about that I wanted to share with you is this lesson that I learned. I think of it every time I paint almost because I love to get the painting done and then walk away. This is a very ADHD thing, I think. We get really excited about something and we work on it and we work on it. And then, you know, like we aren't always good at completing things. Hear the seagulls? They're really loud today. I had to put on headphones because like all the noises, that's part of what was going on. I forgot to take my ADHD meds and like all of the noises. I felt like a little bit of madness. I was literally mad at my painting earlier, but then also the way that my brain feels when I'm tired and I haven't taken my ADHD meds is like everything gets louder. You know, I could hear my daughter with Down syndrome, like wears headphones and watches songs and she sings with them, but she just like hums along. It doesn't actually like sing. It's like, so like I was hearing that. And then there's like, that's basically what the seagulls sound like. And then somebody was playing music at some like work site and then people are doing construction and I was just like, right? So I put on my current hyperfixation song and just played it over and over and that helped. And then the meds kicked in, which also helped my brain. You'll hear a lot of people who start ADHD meds say that their brain feels quieter. And I think that's what they mean. For me, there's a lot of different pieces, but in typical ADHD fashion, I have gotten off topic and forgotten to tell you what I was going to tell you, which was fumbling at the 5. Now, I'm one of those people that doesn't understand sports. I don't really have any desire to understand sports, to be honest. I joke with my husband, like, oh, sports ball, just all sports are sports ball. However, I do understand the concept of fumbling at the 5. And when I was a college student, I spent a summer with an organization that was leading mission service trips. There was a really cute young married couple who were also serving that summer. And they were talking about how one of their marriage lessons and sort of like jokes that they would say to each other is, don't fumble at the 5. One of them would like do most of the dishes and then not the very last dish, or, you know, just like leave a couple in the sink and not finish hand washing them or whatever. The fumbling at the 5 message in painting, I think about a lot because what I hate to do once I get the front of the painting done is I hate painting the sides. And part of that is because like it just takes sustained attention, because you can't, unless you're going to set it on a flat surface, you can't paint all the sides at the same time. So I was trying to be good. And not fumble at the 5 earlier and start painting some of the sides so that when I'm done, some of them will be done and I'll be able to like let it dry and turn it over. But like the number of paintings that I've just left the edges completely blank, it's a lot of paintings. So anyway, behold, this is me trying very hard not to fumble at the 5. Oh my gosh, that is such a lesson for business too, right? And basically, like any of us who have ADHD, it's just so easy to just almost get done and then lose interest. And this is me trying not to do that. If my paintings get any paint on the sides, then I count myself lucky. But it's a good lesson to not give up, to not bail when you're almost there, which honestly brings us back to the very beginning of this video. There's always this point where you just don't feel like you can make it anymore. And you definitely feel like you ruined everything. And you want to quit. And if you don't, then you end up with something really beautiful. And you end up with something complete instead of incomplete. Having to paint or have a business or mother or exercise, maybe you're training for something, having to push through difficulty is a really good life skill, and it involves being uncomfortable. I don't like to be uncomfortable. When I was a kid, I quit things really fast because I sort of had beginner's luck with things. I would try things, and if I was good at it right away, I'd be like, yeah, I want to do this. And then it would get hard and I would quit. And I would like to think that I have grown past that. I'm trying to not quit, while also being willing to take breaks and not being afraid to take breaks so that I can sustain whatever it is that I'm trying to do. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I like to think of this as a midlife survival channel, and hopefully sometimes we can make it over the bump to a midlife thriving channel. So if you are over 40 or if you are a woman with ADHD who is over 35, because you might already be having some midlife perimenopause symptoms at this point and not even know it, because that's what happened to me. I invite you to hang out here with me, and sometimes I'll be painting. I always try and make things calm for your nervous system, not rushed, speaking at human speed. Sometimes I share nature videos from my home here in Portugal. Those are some of the things that I paint, is nature here in Portugal. And so if you are just trying to make it through, I would love it if you join me. I would love it if you comment and tell me how you're doing and whether you also ever fumble at the 5. But I'm Andy. I'm an artist and a mother living in Portugal, and I'm here to remind you to find the beauty around wherever you can find it, to buoy your spirit and help you keep going. See you later.